behind you! Got him! Got him!
Max!
Got him!
Max, he's down, Max, he's down. Behind you!
No! Go! Hit him for 150!
Many people know that Fortnite became famous for its Battle Royale mode, a mode that is one of the most difficult and skill-dependent modes in the gaming industry. And many know the point of this mode: to win. But is a Victory Royale as important as it was at the game's inception? And is it true that after 8 years we can understand the value of victory and what is actually wrong with the Fortnite system? I think there's no need to explain why victory is the main meaning of the entire mode. To achieve this, you build a match plan, eliminate, and survive against 99 other real players. But I'm sure you've long started to notice that you no longer get the same emotions from winning matches. Rather, the main enjoyment comes from mindless pushing or playing with friends. But it wasn't always like this, and the problem is not as superficial as you might think. Starting from the first chapter, absolutely everyone valued your statistics, your K/D, matches played, and your skill. But the most important indicator of skill was victories. Everything depended on them. As funny as it may sound, why were victories valued the most back then? Again, there are a couple of reasons for this. Let's start with the fact that winning was difficult. The factors were diverse: the novelty of the game where everyone was still adapting, and the high competitiveness which further gave significance to the victory and was hyped in the community as something important. And of course, the absence of skill-based matchmaking, where one match could feature people who had hundreds of wins, and others who were only just starting Fortnite for the first time. The adrenaline when entering the top 20, top 10, top 5, the shrinking circle, and the shaking hands from realizing that you might win. This is what gave you the strong emotions, and honestly, it didn't really matter how much you played. There were people who already had a couple of seasons of experience under their belt, but still got nervous like it was the first time when entering the final stage of the game. Everything I listed earlier gave you the realization that winning won't be easy, and you would either have to wait weeks for the luck that you could land a random shot on the last player after camping the whole game, or train. And believe me, practicing your skill without a sandbox or creative mode was difficult, and scary for many. The game evolved, and victories still influenced how other players perceived you. But one fine day, Epic decided to make one of the most unpleasant maneuvers towards Fortnite's public matches: the addition of skill-based matchmaking, SBMM. This feature completely killed interest and relatively reduced the emotions and unexpectedness of matches. After all, less skilled players would now be matched with equally less skilled players and strong players with those similar to themselves. This was the first step in killing the value of victory. But the fateful day can be considered October 15, 2019. That was when Epic added something that completely changed the understanding of the Battle Royale's meaning for many, and sparked a lot of discussion about the meaning of this mechanic. It was with the start of Chapter 2 that Epic introduced bots, and for the most part, the problems with the decline in interest in Battle Royale stem from them. Unfortunately, the intelligence of these players was minimal, and I don't know what would have to happen for them to kill you. In just 2 months, Epic took away the competitive matches, the touch of unexpectedness and difficulty that many people enjoyed. Because when everything comes easily and quickly, you don't get the same pleasure as you do from the painstaking achievement of a goal where you have to strive through incredible routine garbage. The post-Chapter 1 era can truly be called a sandbox. I understand that games themselves have become more friendly to new audiences, and if you threw new players into lobbies with pros right now, there's too high a chance they would never return to the game. But I don't understand this logic. I've been playing Fortnite for 7 damn years. I have over 11,000 hours, 20,000 matches, over 1,500 wins, and half 100,000 kills under my belt. And often, my first public matches start with me meeting only about a dozen real people. Where is the logic and the system? Believe me, the issue is certainly not with my skill or poor play. I can play at an average level, and I have competitive experience that I dedicated a large part of my Fortnite time to. But shouldn't it work so that weak players are matched with the AI? Fortnite isn't infinite, and the lobby needs to be filled with bots, but not half of all players replaced by robots. And according to Fortnite, what emotions should I have after winning a game where I only met at most 20 real players? Of course, one could argue that the same game cannot bring strong emotions from winning after a whole 7 years. Perhaps, and believe me. Of course, not so skilled players and people who come home from work, who have 25 children and just want to chill in Fortnite, will object. Fortnite is a fun game where I want to constantly win, not fight against unemployed grinders and school kids. But this is the whole problem, and the topic could be closed with phrases like, Fortnite is a competitive game where the point is not constant victories, but the difficulty of earning one. But this problem can be revealed differently. Add a no-bot mode, which Epic has done in some non-core modes like Blitz and OG, or introduce a casual mode, which they plan to do in mid-2025, and remove at least all bots from the original mode, giving a sandbox for people who want to chill, and a genuine Battle Royale experience for players who enter for that experience. Fortnite is not at a stage where it can abandon bots, but they can be minimized and separated into a different category. The Victory Royale is no longer the main focus of why you play this mode. Epic themselves have spoiled us by adding modes where you can see the win screen in a couple of minutes. There is no reward for effort. There is just what I would call a formality. And I'll immediately answer the strange thoughts in some people's heads. No, I will not play ranked or tournaments to get my competitive experience. I want to get it in the base competitive game. I'm not interested in competing at a higher level, although ranked isn't necessarily that, but I think you understand the message. Epic has driven the game's concept and value to the bottom for the sake of new dopamine-filled and fast game modes. How else can you hook players who are not interested in the outdated Battle Royale genre? But why turn the genre upside down within the mode itself? Why do we need to lower the bar for the significance of your victory just so a certain group of people can play in full lobbies with bots? Why hasn't Epic revamped the bots yet? Why do they still behave like an amoeba, and don't bring the slightest fear of fighting them, even though 6 full years have passed since their introduction? Don't you find it strange that trends in the fluffiness of the gaming industry have led us to a place where the barrier to entry into the gaming space is so low that it undermines the most important aspects of multiplayer competitive games? We will no longer get the clips that were common in the mid to late teens. Your skill is no longer the measure. And the very phrase relaxing in a competitive game, and the aggression towards this position, is something radical and unacceptable. I've suggested a bunch of small solutions to the problem so that victory feels like a coveted trophy for everyone who plays. But they are all just a band-aid on a wound that will only dull the pain, but won't solve the whole problem. I'm not going to tell you about my radical idea of how to fix this whole mess. Unfortunately, a too large generation of players has grown up precisely in bot-filled matches, where Epic gave them the opportunity to win in the very first match thanks to an absolutely full bot lobby. And older players who fully understand the problem of the value of victories likely don't have a voice as loud as the new generations, and are simply called blinded by nostalgia. I would like to hope that Epic will improve the gameplay, and Fortnite will once again be able to bring pleasant and incredibly strong emotions after a victory, as it did in the early years of Fortnite when wins felt like the brightest moment and were remembered for weeks.